February 4th, 1962, New Delhi, India. Astrologers across the subcontinent issued a warning so dire that it reached the floor of Parliament. 7 planets, the Sun, the Moon, Mercury, Venus, Mars, Jupiter, and Saturn, were converging in a single sign, Aquarius, a configuration that had not occurred in recorded memory. The alignment was so dense that all 7 visible celestial bodies occupied a 15-degree arc of the zodiac. In Vedic astrology, this was the Kumbh Mela configuration, associated with the dissolution of an age. Newspapers across India ran headlines predicting earthquakes, floods, the end of the world. Temples overflowed with people seeking protection and performing last rites. Schools closed. Some families gave away their possessions. The Prime Minister, Jawaharlal Nehru, went on national radio to calm the public, urging citizens to trust science over superstition. In the West, observatories received thousands of calls. Some families stockpiled food. Others prayed. Time magazine covered the global anxiety. The Aquarius stellium of 1962 was, at the time, the most feared astrological event in modern history. Not because any single planet was doing something dramatic, because all of them were doing something at the same time. The fear was not about one event, it was about convergence. The sense that when the cosmos concentrates this much energy in one direction, something fundamental must break. And convergence is exactly what happened to you this week. This week, I walked you through 5 separate cosmic events: Mars square Uranus, Mercury retrograde deepening in Pisces, the pre-eclipse hush, Venus entering Pisces, the total lunar eclipse in Virgo. If you watched each video, you experienced each event as its own weather system, its own disruption, its own message, its own set of actions. And that was necessary. You needed to feel each one individually to understand its weight. But today I want to do something different. I want to zoom out to the altitude where the pattern becomes visible. Because these 5 events were never 5 separate things, they were one thing in 5 movements. And the thread that connects them changes what the entire week means. Let me lay the sequence out, not as a timeline, as an argument, because the cosmos, this week, was making an argument. It was building a case. And the case was this: something in your life has completed its useful life, and you are being shown exactly what it is, from every possible angle, so that when the Saturn-Neptune conjunction arrives on March 20th, you are ready to let it go and begin. Movement 1, Thursday, Mars square Uranus, the crack. This was not subtle. Mars is force, will, action. Uranus is disruption, electricity, the sudden break from the expected. When they squared at 27 degrees of fixed signs, the energy was physical, jolting. Something broke open. A conversation erupted that you had been managing for weeks. A decision you were postponing announced itself. A relationship pattern that had been tolerable became suddenly intolerable. The crack was the entry point. The cosmos opened the surface. Movement 2, Friday, Mercury retrograde in Pisces, the revision. If Mars cracked the surface, Mercury turned the flashlight inward. Mercury retrograde is the editor. In Pisces, the editing is not rational. It is intuitive. Dreams surfaced. Old names returned. Conversations replayed with different emphasis. The crack Mars opened on Thursday revealed not just an external truth, but an internal one. The story you have been telling about yourself, the narrative you used to explain your choices, was placed under review. Not all of it. One specific chapter. The chapter that no longer fits. Movement 3, Saturday. The hush. This was not an event in the traditional sense. It was an absence. The active energy of Mars and Mercury settled, and what remained was stillness. The kind of stillness that is not empty, but full. The pre-eclipse gathering. The breath held before the wave. If you were paying attention on Saturday, you noticed a strange suspension. The world felt like it was between sentences. That was the cosmos gathering everything the first 2 days had stirred and holding it at the surface, preparing it for the eclipse. Movement 4, Sunday. Venus enters Pisces. The heart opens. Into the hush, Venus arrived, the planet of love crossing into the sign where love has no walls. This was not a coincidence of scheduling. The timing was architectural. After the crack and the revision and the gathering silence, the heart needed to soften in order to receive what the eclipse would reveal. You cannot absorb truth through armor. Venus dissolved the armor. She opened the emotional field. She made you permeable. Some of you felt this as unexpected tenderness, others as a sudden, almost painful compassion for someone you thought you were angry at. Others as a memory of love arriving with its full original weight. Venus was not a separate event. She was preparation. She opened the door so the eclipse could walk through it. Movement 5, Monday. The total lunar eclipse in Virgo, the illumination. Everything that cracked, everything that was revised, everything that gathered in the hush, everything that opened when the heart softened, the eclipse illuminated it all at once. The 72 minutes of totality were not random darkness. They were a controlled exposure. The light was removed so that what was hidden by the light could finally be seen. The perfect system with the hidden flaw. The polished surface with the exhausted core. The version of you that handles everything and the cost of that handling that no one sees. This was the culmination. Not of the eclipse, of the entire 5-movement sequence. Now here is the thread. Every movement pointed in the same direction. The crack showed you where the structure was weak. The revision showed you that you already knew it was weak, that the knowing had been there for weeks or months, sitting quietly in the background of your awareness like a sound you had trained yourself to ignore. The hush gave you the space to feel the full weight of that knowing without distraction. Venus opened the emotional capacity to hold the truth without collapsing under it, without armoring against it, without intellectualizing it into abstraction. And the eclipse made the truth undeniable. Not opinion, not suspicion, visible fact. 5 events, 1 message. The same message from 5 different angles. Like 5 witnesses describing the same scene from different positions in the room. Each testimony is different. The event they describe is identical. This is exactly what happened in 1962. Not the apocalypse, not the end of the world. The Aquarius stellium came and went, and civilization survived. But something did end. The assumptions of the previous decade cracked. Within months of the stellium, the Cuban Missile Crisis brought the world to the edge of nuclear annihilation and then pulled it back, forever altering the relationship between superpowers. The space race accelerated. The civil rights movement surged. The cultural revolution of the 60s, which would reshape music, art, gender, authority, and consciousness across the Western world began its approach. The convergence did not destroy, it clarified. It concentrated so much energy in one direction that the old structures could not hold, not because they were attacked, because they were exposed as insufficient for what was coming. When this many forces align in one direction, the direction is not a suggestion. It is a verdict. And the verdict this week delivered is specific to you. I do not know the content of your verdict, but I know the structure. Something completed. Something was revealed as finished. And the part of you that already knew it was finished has been validated by every single transit this week. Sit with that for a moment. Here is what this means for what comes next. The Saturn-Neptune conjunction on March 20th is not a new crisis arriving from the outside. It is the landing zone for everything this week set in motion. The crack, the revision, the opening, the illumination. All of it was the cosmos ensuring that when the most significant planetary alignment in 36 years arrives, you are not surprised. You are not blindsided. You have already seen the truth. You have already begun the release. You have already felt the tenderness and the clarity. The conjunction becomes not a disruption, but a confirmation, the formal beginning of what the eclipse already set in motion. And between now and March 20th, two more critical moments arrive. On March 7th, just 2 days from now, Mercury cazimi, the planet that has been retrograde, foggy, swimming through Pisces in revision mode for nearly 2 weeks, will pass through the heart of the sun. In traditional astrology, cazimi is the most powerful moment of the entire retrograde cycle. The confusion burns away in the sun's fire. The message that has been forming in fragments, a dream here, a name there, an unsent message, a sentence that keeps circling, will crystallize into clarity. Whatever the eclipse revealed in shadow, the cazimi will articulate in light. The message will become a sentence you can hold. And the following week, as Saturn and Neptune close the final degrees towards 0 Aries, the architecture of the entire spring will become fully visible. Here's what that actually looks like for each sign. The action today is reflective, not forward-facing, not about what comes next, about what already happened. Look back at your week. Find the thread that connects Thursday's jolt to Friday's revision, to Saturday's silence, to Sunday's tenderness, to Monday's eclipse. The thread is there. It has your name on it. Aries. Thursday's jolt hit your daily structure. Friday's revision questioned the story you tell about your productivity. The eclipse exposed the hidden cost. Your thread? The relationship between what you do and who you are. They are not the same thing. Your action. Look back at Monday. What surfaced? Write it down. That word is your compass for March. Taurus. The crack hit your community. The revision hit your sense of belonging. The eclipse exposed a creative voice you had silenced. Your thread. The people around you have shaped what you allow yourself to want. Your action. Name the desire that returned this week, the one you are afraid to take seriously. Write it down. Gemini. The crack hit your professional life. The revision questioned a family story. The eclipse exposed a foundation you built on someone else's blueprint. Your thread, the difference between what was given to you and what you chose. Your action. Finish this sentence. The thing I inherited that I no longer need is... Cancer. The crack hit a conversation. The revision replayed old words with new meaning. The eclipse crystallized a truth you heard but did not feel. Your thread. A message has been trying to reach you for months. Your action. Write down the sentence that keeps circling, the one from the conversation you keep replaying. That sentence is the thread. Leo. The crack hit your sense of value. The revision questioned what you charge, literally and metaphorically. The eclipse exposed a gap between what you give and what you allow yourself to receive. Your thread. Worthiness. Your action. Name one thing you tolerated this week that you should not have. Do not fix it yet. Name it. Virgo. This was your week. The crack, the revision, the hush, the heart, the eclipse. All of it converged in your first house. Your thread is you. The version of you that performs competence, and the version underneath that is tired of performing. Your action. Write one thing you would stop doing if no one expected it of you. Libra. The crack hit a group dynamic. The revision surfaced unconscious patterns. The eclipse revealed something hidden even from yourself. Your thread. What you suppress in order to keep the peace. Your action. Name the thing you did not say this week. The honest thing. Write it down, even if no one reads it. Scorpio. The crack hit a friendship. The revision questioned a vision of the future. The eclipse exposed the real values underneath a group's stated values. Your thread. The future you have been building by default versus the one you actually want. Your action. Who did you think of this week who represents the future you choose? Reach out. Sagittarius. The crack hit your public life. The revision questioned a career narrative. The eclipse exposed the distance between performance and purpose. Your thread. You know what you would build if you were free. Your action. Write one sentence describing that thing. Do not censor it for practicality. Capricorn. The crack hit a belief. The revision softened a conviction. The eclipse exposed the map you are following that no longer matches the territory. Your thread. The upgrade your belief system is asking for. Your action. Name the old belief. Then name what your actual experience tells you. Let the experience win. Aquarius. The crack hit an intimate contract. The revision surfaced the terms you never voiced. The eclipse made the invisible agreement visible. Your thread. What you owe and what you are owed, and the gap between. Your action. The unspoken rule in your closest relationship. Write it down. That is your thread. Pisces. The crack hit your relationships. The revision dissolved the filter. The eclipse illuminated the person across from you with startling clarity. Your thread. The difference between who they are and who you needed them to be. Your action. One honest observation about someone you love, not to change them, to see them. Write it down. This week was not chaos. This week was not 5 separate disruptions competing for your attention. This week was a single, coherent, carefully sequenced message from the cosmos, delivered in 5 movements, each one building on the last. The thread is there. The pattern is real. And the pattern is not punishment. It is not crisis. It is choreography. The cosmos choreographed this week so that by the time you reach the cazimi on March 7th, you would already know what the message says. so that by the time the Saturn-Neptune conjunction arrives on March 20th, you would already be standing in the right place. What has ended this week was supposed to end. What is beginning was always going to begin. And you are not standing at the edge of something. You are standing inside something that has already started. The thread that connects the jolt to the revision, to the hush, to the heart, to the eclipse, that thread does not stop here. It runs forward into everything that comes next. Next week builds directly on this foundation. Mercury's cazimi, the approach to the conjunction. Stay close. Trust the thread. Trust the pattern. And I will see you in the next one.